Okay, it's recording now. So when I'm on top of things and I meal prep, my plan is to make my meal plan first. And so what I did yesterday is I wrote down all the things I still had in my fridge that I needed to eat. And I made meal plans out of that first in order to spend less money. And then I just figured out all my meals for the week and then did that spreadsheet that I posted in our group. For me, spreadsheets work the best, but there's a ton of different resources that you can use to come up with a meal plan. And whenever you guys hop on, if you can mute your lines, that'll help with the background noise. I think everybody's muted, but just in case you're not. So after I make my meal plan, then what I did is I made another little list here of what I could prep ahead of time. So I just look at everything and figure out what are some things that I can cook ahead of time, even cook now and freeze, but cooked so that I can pull it out later in the week, things like that. So that's what I'm going to start with. So that's kind of my initial process. So I make my meal plan for the week. From there, I make my grocery list and, buy all the things that I need. And I go down to, every single meal and snack. And then from there, I decide what can I prep ahead of time. And so that's what I do. And so right now, I have a ton of produce on my counter. You might not be able to see it. But so one of the first things I'm going to do is just wash and chop things and get things ready to be cooked. And then I'm going to just cook whatever I can. I have my Instant Pot. I'm going to do rice in my crock pot. I'm going to do steel cut oats. So I've got two things going at once, but I'm getting those grains cooked ahead of time. So basically the meal prep, the ideal meal prep is what are the things that you can cook ahead of time that are going to save you time later on in the week. I definitely recommend having all of your pre-workout meals, if you're a morning workout person at least, prepped and ready. So like I already have enough left over from the last week that I don't have to do any of those, but I have that spinach, egg, tomato, quinoa bake in there in the freezer. I just cooked the whole thing, divided it into the servings and ziplocked it and put it in the freezer, and I just pull one out each night, and then in the morning it'll be thawed. I keep it in the fridge overnight and then just heat it up in the morning. So all the egg things, I always just put them immediately in the freezer, and then the night before I just get out one serving. So that way it stays fresh. If I change my mind one day, nothing's going to go bad. I also am going to finish prepping more of those yogurt parfaits.
Mom.
So the other day I made some acorn squash because I ran out of my butternut squash, and so I have the puree, and I put that in the jars already. Whenever it was cooked, I measured it out, and I'm just going to add in a red container of yogurt and then a 1/4 cup of the muesli, and then these will be ready to go for my pre-workout snack. So that's one thing. So basically, like, the best thing is just to get like everything that you can possibly prep and get it all out and just do as many things at the same time. Like I have sweet potatoes in the oven right now that the best way I found to cook sweet potatoes is just whole in the oven on anywhere between 400 and 450. It depends. I have mine on 400 because I'm going to be roasting some vegetables too at 400. So I'm trying to keep things at the same temperature. That's another thing you can do, more than one thing at once when you have the same temperature. So I'm going to have the potatoes in there, and I'm going to roast some vegetables for the week in there. And then I'm going to cook up some turkey meat and some breakfast sausage. So I'm just going to try to do as many things at once as possible. So that's kind of my method. So if another coach wants to hop on and share kind of how you approach prepping, I don't know who wants to go next. I'll just pick Molly. You're at the top left for me, so you go.
Okay. I have to have everything grab and go, especially stuff during the week, Monday through Friday, or it's gonna fail. So I don't know how to turn this around. There we go. So my kitchen is a disaster right now, but this is the beginning stages of my prepping. I'm roasting vegetables right now. I've got stuff that just finished in the Instapot. I tried meat in the Instapot. I had to put it back in because it didn't cook enough. It was the first time that I had tried that ground turkey or ground beef. I don't remember which. Right now I'm prepping sweet potatoes to go in the Instapot next. But basically what I do is I portion everything out. I roast. Sorry if you're getting dizzy. I'll try not to move as much. I roast the vegetables. And then I have these containers that I got that are just for storage and grab and go. I will still use my containers to measure them out. Even a year and a half of using the containers, I still just want to make sure that I'm getting the right portions. So I'll do that. While I'm doing this, for me, my 3-year-old wanted blueberries this week, so I went ahead and did that for her as well. Something that I also do is I will make a whole bunch of these. This is just spinach. I use them in my shakes, in my pre-workout meal as well. I buy it fresh, but then I freeze it. So if I don't get through all of it, I'll make like 20 of those at a time. It won't go bad. I'm trying to think about what else. Over here, I'm just doing fruit, kind of in the process of it. It's, I just kind of do it all at once. My big thing is that it has to be done and ready to go so that I can just grab it, throw it in my lunchbox, and be ready to go. So that's kind of my process.
Thanks, Molly. That was really helpful. Jesse, you want to go over what you do?
Sure. Mine's a lot like Andrea's, and I'm not in my kitchen because I did this yesterday. So what I did first, like Andrea said, is I spent a lot of money at the grocery store last week, more than typical, and I bought too much stuff, but I didn't let any of it go to waste. So I looked at what I still had. One thing I was going to say, I don't think they addressed this in 80-Day Obsession anywhere in the prep or anything, but one of our other programs did. I can't remember which one. But I started buying a bag of frozen raw shrimp that was already peeled and deveined. I really like shrimp. I like shrimp in salad or as my protein with whole wheat pasta or whatever. But it's just a super simple and affordable way to buy it. It's in a huge bag at our grocery store. And I have, I ate it probably 4 or 5 times last week throughout the week and still have a lot left. So I knew I had that. I had some cooked salmon that I had baked last weekend, still left in the freezer. I had a pound of ground turkey still left in the freezer. So my grocery bill this week was like barely, it wasn't even $100 for the whole week. So I made a list of what I still had, and then I started filling in my spots on each of my meals, and then I made my grocery list from that. And I did what Andrea did. I just looked through every meal on what I could prep ahead of time. So for me, I'm only going to be in town 3 days this week. And so I'm going to have the same thing all 3 days. My husband's out of town. It was just going to be easy for me. So I'm having the squash parfaits that Andrea was talking about for breakfast. So yesterday I roasted the squash and pureed it and measured it out. And then as my post-workout meal each day this week, I'm going to have boiled eggs. So I boiled and peeled all the eggs. And then I'm going to have a salad in the afternoon with shrimp. So I went ahead and thawed out the shrimp and seasoned them up and sauteed them, which took like 3 minutes, and portioned them all out. Black beans, I rinsed and drained them, portioned them out. And then I'm going to have Shakeology as my meal one. And then for dinner, to keep it simple this week, I just picked, thing on the phone. For dinner, I just picked out a protein and quinoa as my grain, and then I roasted a whole pan of veggies and portioned them out. So I'm going to reuse the salmon and the ground turkey I had. So that was pretty much the prep for the whole week for me. If it was a different week where I had 7 days to prep for, I would have done the same type of thing, just prepped a few proteins like baked salmon, ground up some beef or browned it, maybe made fajita meat. I do that a lot. And then done quinoa and roasted sweet potatoes. I forgot about that. I did that too. And that way I just have several options from each of the containers to grab during the week. And I might not necessarily plan out my exact meal, but I would have 4 or 5 reds to pick from, 4 or 5 greens, you know, already ready. And it would be super simple to just throw it together that day. So that's all I did.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way if you're overwhelmed with how to prep and what to eat and what to do, is just to prep by food group or by container, you know, 2 to 3 options, at least, you know, vegetables, meat, grains, and then you just throw together combos as the meal comes up. I think that makes life easier for most people.
And if you're short on time, I find myself short on time a lot if I don't prep everything ahead of time. And so I'm like, the yellows are what always gets me, because I'm like, oh, now I gotta like make brown rice. So the quickest thing is I just like to have drained and rinsed black beans. That's super easy to throw in your shake or throw on a taco or throw on a fajita or just eat as a side. So black beans really help me in the yellows. A piece of frozen Ezekiel bread, obviously, just throw that in the toaster. And then roasted sweet potatoes. They hold up really well. And I bake them too. I bake them like Andrea whole and then just cut them in half and wrap them in foil and just eat the baked potato half. Or I really like them roasted. So I'll just cube them all up, roast them, then individually package them. So having yellows and reds cooked on hand is the easiest for me, because with veggies, you can just grab some baby carrots if you're short on time. But the yellows and reds are key for me to have 3 or 4 choices of.
Stacy, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you and Jesse. I mean, I like to make sure that I look at all of my containers, the yellows especially. I'm doing sweet potatoes in my Instapot right now. I'm doing steel cut oats in my Instapot. Since we've been talking, I've been cutting a bunch of veggies that I need to roast. And so I'll have those all ready to go. What I will say is some of the meal combinations are a little strange. Like the orange container always throws me off. And don't let it throw you off. I mean, like, so you eat some nuts at the end. I mean, that's really what instead of trying to find the perfect recipe that has all the right containers, it's okay to mix and match a little bit. I mean, really, if you have a lot of yellows on hand, a lot of reds on hand, a lot of greens on hand, which by the way, frozen vegetables work too, frozen broccoli in a bag, frozen spinach in a bag. If you have those, then you can just kind of add on those other containers that you might need. But yeah, I start with my family meals, and that's usually where my blue container is because we like cheese or avocado. So that's usually going to be my dinner, and then I backtrack from there. So a lot of what has already been said, really.
I've been having trouble with my teaspoon if I'm not eating something roasted. And so I've just been eating a teaspoon of almond butter almost at the end of every single meal as my dessert this week. But
well, I found some new combinations too, like with sweet potatoes. To use that orange container, I've been using a little coconut oil and pecans, chopped pecans in a sweet potato. Is really good. Like it's a yummy combination. It kind of reminds me of something you'd have at Thanksgiving, and it uses those extra containers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've had a lot more coconut oil lately too. I seem to be adding in here.
Okay, Ashley, you have some stuff you want to share?
Yeah, I don't have a ton. You know, I'm not a pro at this at all, so I'm actually trying to get some tips from you guys. But the main key for me this week was just having my little pre-workout meal ready on the days that I'm going to work out. So I had, like Andrea did, with the parfaits, with the yogurt and fruit, and then I had like a little teaspoon of peanut butter ready and my veggie ready, just everything sitting on the counter, grab it and head down with my workout clothes. I set everything because I work out in the basement. So, you know, everything ready so that at, you know, early in the morning, I'm not clanking around the kitchen waking everybody up because my kids wake up super easily. So yeah, pre-workout meal is key for me. I'm home a lot. Like the days I'm not at work, I'm at home. So it's really easy for me to just grab my snacks and make dinner. So I don't do a ton of prep for, especially dinner, because dinner's easy. We're not in activities. We're not so I just make dinner, but it's mainly my mid-morning snack I like to have ready. Boiled eggs, or today I made some little veggie egg cups with just, like almost like scrambled egg poured over some spinach and mushrooms or whatever you want to put in there, and baked in a muffin tin for like 15 minutes. So we did those because I got really sick of boiled eggs. So yeah, mine's fairly, like when I'm home, it's easy. It's just when I know I'm not going to be here, I've got to have that ready to grab and go. But by the way, Molly, you're like on top of it. I was like so impressed by your containers. That's what you got to do when you're a full-time teacher. So I'm really impressed by that. So thanks for all the tips. That's all I have.
I want to say too, for breakfast, I do my breakfast a little different. I want a nice hot breakfast. I know I'm weird, and I know it's like we're doing this before the crack of dawn, but it only takes me 3 minutes to, I take spinach, I put it in the microwave on a plate, and while that's cooking, I toast my toast, and I cook my eggs, and in 3 minutes, I put it all together, put some coconut oil on there, got fried eggs on there, and so you can make a really fast breakfast if you don't want to do the parfaits and stuff, because I cold in the morning doesn't sound good to me, but you can make it really fast. So don't feel like you have to feel like that if you don't want to.
JC, that's actually exactly what I do. I mean, I got the idea from you, but and I do it at 3:30 in the morning. So it is super fast and it is doable. You just have to be willing to do it. But I totally get if the grab and go, that I used to do that too. And I actually used to prep an egg casserole. On Sunday, I would just throw everything in a casserole dish, bake it, slice it up into, I think, 6 portions, and just save that. And that was just a grab and go for me. But then I found this that was really 3 minutes, and I was done. So I decided I liked this better.
Bethany, did you have anything you want to add?
There we go. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
Okay.
Y'all have done a fantastic job. I have marked dissension going on around my house right now, so if it gets loud and I have to leave, that's why. But oh, buddy, no, we're not gonna brush my hair right now. Okay, just a minute. Sorry. I think so. Some of my biggest things I do is I cannot stand to have like wilty, soggy spinach. So I'll get my spinach and put it just in regular sandwich bags, portion it all out, and put it in the freezer. And usually get like a huge thing at Sam's, and do that, and it lasts a couple weeks. I also slice bananas and freeze them to put in my shakes. Some of the other things y'all have done too, doing spaghetti squash and acorn squash ahead of time, I think really helps. I'm trying to think, what are the other things? I should have written all these down. I actually meal prepped yesterday and earlier today, so I'm not doing anything else right now. I'm leaving at the end of the week and we'll be out of town. So I actually went on ahead and made meals for while I was gone and froze them. I marinated like pork chops and put those in the freezer just right when I got them, portioned them all out and marinated them. So those will just be ready to go. Today cooked flank steak and peppers and put all that in the fridge. So I think just having those things on hand and having it ready is good. I also really need a plan. So if I don't write out my things and what I'm going to have for each of the meals at all the different times, then I tend to not do as well. So I tend to write out my menu for the whole entire week, and then sometimes I'll repeat those. Obviously with 20 Monday Fix, this is a little bit different. Not that we couldn't repeat these, but we haven't had any weeks to repeat yet. So I'm trying to think if there's any other things. For breakfast, just portioning out like berries and things like that. Just getting it all ready ahead of time, I think is huge. So I don't know. Y'all did a fantastic job. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to add.
Yeah, I think we've kind of mentioned a little bit, but definitely washing and just in chopping if necessary all fruits and veggies, even if you don't have a specific can for them. But I know that, if I need a fruit and none of my strawberries are washed, I'm not going to grab the strawberries probably because it just takes too long. So spend some time washing everything. I like to wash my strawberries and grapes and things like that in water and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, or you can use white vinegar. It helps clean them a little bit better, and then I rinse them again so it doesn't taste like vinegar, but it helps clean them a little bit better. So I do that with my berries and my grapes. And with the grapes, I'll put them all in there, and then I strip them off the stems all the way, and then rinse them in my hand and put them in the container so they're just like all loose, which is really easy for portioning them out too. So I don't feel like I have to portion out a cup, of every fruit, but because it's really quick to, just portion them out once they're already clean. But just getting things clean and washed. Like I'm going to do these Fix8 chicken sweet potato wraps that I posted the picture in one of our albums, but they are so good and y'all all need to try them. I wasn't sure if they would be good because you use a collard green leaf to wrap them in. And I didn't know how that would taste raw, but you don't even really taste it. It just holds it in. But you make like this vinaigrette, and then it's grilled chicken and mashed sweet potato and bell pepper and green onion and a tomato if you want. But I don't like tomatoes, so I just did extra bell pepper. But they prep very well, and they will hold up. So I'm going to get those rolled up and put in the fridge. You get 2 wraps per serving, so it's a good sized lunch, and it kept me full the days that I had it. So I definitely recommend y'all checking out that one, and that's on Fix8 on Beachbody On Demand. And I think it's probably in that PDF that I posted into the files of the group. But like for that right now, I'm chopping the bell peppers and green onions because I've got to grill the chicken later because I don't think I'll get to it right now. But I'm at least doing what I can, washing, prepping, chopping, do all the washing at the same time.
I was going to add one more thing too. If you do plan a meal, like this last week I had the cheesy steak skillet, and if you haven't tried that, you need to try it too. It's from Fix8, and I think we've posted about it a couple times. But anyhow, I got pretty tired of it. My husband wasn't here this week, and I had it like for 6 meals, and I was just sick of it. But you don't have to waste food like that, and you also don't feel like you have to eat the entire 6 servings of it. So then I portioned out 3 of them because I was tired of it and froze it. Portioned, and it held up really well. So I'll probably pull it out in another like 3 weeks or 4 weeks when I want it again. So if you just spend a little time, like a few weeks down the road, you won't have to spend as much time or as much money at the grocery store because you can still cook in bulk and save for later. Even fully prepared meals hold up.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. Like there's some recipes like the baked ziti that I made from the Beachbody blog. I only made what it called for, but it was just a 8x8. I think now, but sometimes if there's a recipe that's an 8x8, I'll go ahead and double it and know that I'm going to freeze half of it. Because it's just so much easier to do it once and just plan to eat like 2 weeks later. But you'll definitely save time by having those meals frozen.
Yep, and the fajitas from. Oh, go ahead, Stacey.
Go ahead.
There's fajitas. I think there's steak fajitas and chicken fajitas, and I don't know if they're in Fix8 or if they're just in like 21 Day Fix and 21 Day Fix Extreme. But anyway, we have them probably twice a month, and you can in bulk do that very easily too. You can either double the recipe and freeze it in a Ziploc bag raw with the raw veggies and raw steak seasoned, or this week I made it, cooked it all, like 2 pounds of it, doubled everything, tripled, I can't remember what I did. And then I individually portioned the peppers and the steak in Ziploc bags and froze it. And so I can just pull out one tiny Ziploc bag, heat it up for 2 minutes in the microwave with the skillet, and eat it one night.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I always make my own little TV dinners. I've been doing this for years, and so I have 6 in my family, but I will usually make double batches of everything, knowing I'm gonna have too much. And I will make sure that in that little TV dinner, I have my protein and my yellow and my green. And I don't even care if my green is overcooked at the end. I mean, like, really, it's usually just a lunch or something. And then I'll put them in my freezer, and I'll just kind of tag what it is because I need to know if there's a blue in it or not. I need to be able to separate my leftovers that way. But yeah, that's a great way to make things go quickly. And I was gonna say too, on Fix8, my kids were watching Fix8 this week. And they noticed that there's a whole category there for just 80-day obsession. Like I know that in our PDF file, they've got the little circles. But if you look on your TV, there's actually a whole category for 80 days. So if you want to just sit down and watch them, you can go there and see specifically what you can use.
I don't know if anybody else. Oh, Sabrina, did you want to add anything, or any other coaches have something, or Trisha? Anybody want to jump in?
I will. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I've actually never talked on here. But my family is not about repeats at all. They're like super picky, and we're trying to get the kids more involved in how we're eating. So definitely we have to be able to adjust and pivot pretty quickly. So I had to really familiarize myself with the food list and like what is what. So even just this morning, Dominic was saying, oh, I thought black beans were a protein. And I'm like, no, it's a yellow container. So really just kind of familiarizing yourself with what foods go in which container will help. So we had unexpected visitors this weekend. And, of course, they want to eat real food and, not pre-portioned items. So we just kind of looked around the kitchen and were able to kind of quickly identify things that we could eat by being pretty familiar with the list of things. And then because they like to switch it up and don't like to repeat, I ended up with things like, and I'll put some of these on some of the pictures on the website or on Facebook, but it looks like this. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's one of the meals it's our meal 3. And it has all of the containers, and it's totally different from, that's also a meal 3. So, just kind of having variety and being able to switch things around like that, I had to know the menu. And then we're also at our desks, from 8 to 5. And so we also have to have things that are grab and go. So I make things like this. It's just a pre-workout, grab one and go, or something like that. And I just put them in a container so I don't squish it on my way to work, and it's good to go. Or when I can, I buy these that are already done for me, so I don't have to, twirl the pasta, the zucchini pasta, or, I can just take one of these that has all the vegetables in it and just scoop a green and you're good to go. So kind of make life as easy for yourself as possible would be my advice, and familiarize yourself with which foods go in what containers, so that if you're out or, you have unexpected visitors or life happens, or, some of my produce, like I bought mangoes and the mangoes were bad. So being able to shift and pivot is kind of, it's key for us. So that's all I have.
Does anybody have any questions? Those of you that are on, any specific questions? If you have anything you're struggling with as far as figuring out prepping, I'm sure someone else is too. If you are, so feel free to ask. Otherwise, I think we have about 8 minutes left before our Zoom time's out. I don't think I have anything else to add. I can think about it. I mean, the key is just planning your whole week. You will spend less money. Your life will be easier. Meal plans are stressful whenever you're not planned. But whenever it's planned, it's so easy. Like last week was like the easiest thing for me, because I didn't know how the time nutrition was going to go, but having it planned, and I see all y'all nodding, like it was so easy. And I didn't even prep. I didn't prep any dinners. I just prepped my pre-workout meal and lunch stuff. Like I grilled a ton of chicken and I froze half of it, and I kind of used that and then got out the rest of it. Things like that, like like we said, cook in bulk, freeze what you can. Like Stacy does this a lot where she'll bake the sweet potatoes like we're doing, and then cut them in half and open them up and freeze them like that. And they freeze well like that. It's easy. You just pull one out. Like half of one is about a yellow. And so, you can have all those things ready to go, because like Jesse was saying, the yellows usually take a little while. So those are good things to prep ahead of time. But yeah, it's really just about planning ahead of time. So if you're still trying to figure out a meal plan, look, at the group. And then there was a Google Drive link I posted with a bunch of meal plans for all the different brackets. You can just search in the group meal plans, and it should come up just to give you some more ideas. And if you're still having trouble, talk to your coach. But you can keep it really simple by just taking it by container group and just putting things together, like brown rice, vegetables, and chicken. Like that's really easy, and you can season them like, roasted vegetables. I like to use Flavor God seasonings, like this one's lemon and garlic. It's really good on green vegetables. But you can season things so that they're not boring, but simple. So that's all I have. Does anybody else have anything you want to say or questions?
I was going to say one more thing. Meal 3 is easiest for me. I like salad, so I don't mind having a salad every day, even though it does get kind of boring. But I try to mix it up because you can make it so simple, like using bagged lettuce, not an iceberg, but another kind of lettuce, romaine or spinach or whatever. And then I just vary what topping I put on. Like my protein, I sometimes slice up deli turkey or grilled chicken that's in the freezer, or boiled eggs, or I just rotate that. And then the yellow is easy to throw in. You can throw in black beans or corn or peas, and then that gets your orange in for a dressing. I just think that's the easiest, fastest meal to like very quickly, and you don't have to do any prep for it. So if you're struggling with the orange container one and you don't mind salad, it's an easy one that you can vary every day.
And doing the same kind of thing in a wrap form, like use the dressing in your wrap. You could use a whole grain tortilla. I did that the other day, I think. Use a whole grain tortilla and then the dressing, chicken, and some lettuce. Super easy. And you can do those ahead of time. You can try different kinds of wraps, different kinds of protein. Or you can try like the collard green wrap like I'm doing and put sweet potatoes in it. Or you could put beans in it. I did notice it was Tuesday that I was really hungry. And I don't think that beans are as filling for me as long as sweet potatoes. So like I switched that up. So if you're hungry, try switching your container groups. Sorry, it's my Instant Pot. And that may make a difference for you. And if you're still really hungry, not feeling good, headaches, lightheaded, think about going up a bracket. But after we've done this a week, you should be able to kind of get a good guide as to whether you're in the right bracket. Like I felt really good once I got that right. Like I felt even energy all day long. I'm not hungry. I'm not super full. I feel good. I haven't lost any weight, which isn't my goal, but like I felt I don't know if I'd say fluffy, but like it's just week 1. I think our bodies are kind of adjusting. But I feel good energy. I think that's a good way to gauge. So, okay, well, I'll go ahead and end the call. If you guys have questions, I'm going to post the link. It's going to be a YouTube link whenever it gets loaded and everything, but y'all can comment on any of the posts in the group if you have specific questions about things that we said. But we're here to help you, so make sure you're ready to go for tomorrow. And if you're not, reach out and ask for help. Have a great day. Bye.